I'm not allowed to work a camera. It's recording, I think. Yeah, it's recording. It isn't? It is, yeah. It is.
Send you to elementary school.
I can't know.
Continue where you were at.
Later, Ferneck produced a Beethoven concerto before his death. He shined a small slimmer of light in the deep night. In the book Goosewell by me, there are two groups, the Lockhart and the Simmons clan. They are sworn enemies by the name of Lockhart and Simmons, as you all know. I, the main character, am a member of both groups and the key to ending the tyranny between the two. However, there is the time loops every 10 years, so the war will not end until I figure out how to solve the tyranny. He ends up shining. He needs to shine a light in the darkness and help the other characters in the book to be at peace with each other, to come to an agreement in something. In Night by Elie Wiesel, Elie must give hope to his father and fellow Jew captives. On pages 110 and 111, Elie says over his father's dying body, "Water was the worst poison for him, but what could Elie do for him?" His father replied on page 111, "Why are you so mean to me, my son? Later, I brought him the water." Elie Wiesel, 110 to 111. Even though water is bad for his father, water is what his father desired, and that was what Elie would produce. He made sure that his father was granted his wishes before his death. He shined that slim and barely noticeable light in that sad darkness and loss of that family member. In Elie Wiesel's Night, he and his father were separated from the rest of the family after being captured by the Nazis. He and his father were sent to the workforce, while his mother and little sister were sent to the death camp to be killed. In the book Goosewell, every time that a loop in time happens, he gets separated from his family and his home. He loses his friends and the memory of them. Sam, a member of the Simmons clan, says, "Every time the loop restarts, you live somewhere else and your memory is lost. When it happens, we lose you, Michael." Goosewell 7, Part 2. In both books, the main character and his family is taken away from them. In Night, the word taken is meant literally, because they will never come into contact with him again. However, in Goosewell, he doesn't remember his family, and they have to come over and over again, and because he loves them. But he never remembers it truly. In the book Night, he silently proves that he loves his father. The platoon pointed to the left. I took a half step forward. I first wanted to see where they would put my father. Where he would have gone to the right, I would run after him. Even if he were going to the prison instead of the death camp, he would run to the crematorium. That's where his father was sent. Even if he were going to prison instead of the crematorium, he would go for a slow and burning death to save his father. This is much like in Goosewell's prologue when he sacrifices himself to save another. "No, I'll do it," Vicky said and stepped forward. By Sam, Vicky's pause was slow and only to aim her shot well. Bang. The shot fired as I stood myself up and fell back to the floor in a heap. Goosewell, page 4, Part 7. These similarities show that the main character loves and cares for the people around him. Night has a lot in common, but I do not think that Night is nearly the same thing as Goosewell. The entire time I have been talking about and trying to tell you that Night and Goosewell are similar. However, the last thing that I would like to do today is to tell you and to think for one moment that they are the same. Elie Wiesel has gone through something that I could not imagine. When there is death and pain, the pain is not in dying. It is in watching a loved one die, or rather a friend die. Goosewell and Night are similar books, but I think that Night has a much more meaningful impact than Goosewell. I am writing Goosewell, and I will never achieve the type of writing that Elie Wiesel wrote. Both books had their similarities, and both books had their differences. And I think that the differences from Night that prove that what is going on in the Nazi camp is something that should be remembered. Thank you.
Give it, Michael, give it. Vinny, turn up.